Hello.
Hi, Tiffany.
Hi, how's it going?
Good. Can you see the slide okay?
I can, yes. Thank you.
Okay, good.
Do that. All right. I think we should get started.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let me see if I can turn on gallery so I can see some faces at least. Hi everyone. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for those of you who've turned on your video so I don't feel like I'm just talking to myself. Anyway, so we are learning about setting goals that matter today. Are any of you guys new to Ignite as far as this session goes, or have you been to the other sessions already?
I've been to other Ignites.
Oh, good. Okay, awesome.
I'm pretty new. I've been to one or two Ignites, but I'm also I'm a new agent.
Great. Patty, is this your first session?
No, I've been to other Ignites.
Oh, perfect. Okay, all right, then you guys are already pros at this. All right, well, I would love to know a little bit about you guys. If you could give me a quick, your name, how long you've been in real estate, when you joined our office, maybe what industry you're coming from.
Okay, I'll go.
Yeah.
Hi, my name's
Why
Yvette.
don't you go and then pick the next person after you so we don't have too many lags.
Okay. I started kind of mid-COVID back in July, and I just partnered up with Kira, so I'm excited about that. So we have a little team going, and yeah, we're enjoying KW.
Awesome. Welcome to our office.
Thank you.
Tagging.
I'm sorry, did you say Patty?
Oh, I was asking who she was going to tag to go next, but you can go next, Patty.
I just signed up with Keller Williams Largemont. I think it was July.
Oh, okay.
Or August. Yeah. And so, and I work off and on in film and television. So.
What do you do in film and television?
Well, I've done a lot of different things. I was an actress, and then I did stunts, and then started doing product placement for film and television.
Oh, cool.
So I freelance on projects.
Great. Well, welcome. All right, and then let's go with Kira.
Hey, I'm Kira. I just signed up with KW last month, and so I'm new to KW, and I'm also new to real estate. I've been a hairstylist for the last 10 years.
Cool.
But I've known Yvette for about 25 years.
Oh wow. You guys came into this together, huh? Great. All right, who do we have next? Aaron?
Yes, hi. My name is Aaron. I just got with Keller Williams, I think 2 weeks ago. I also am in film and television. I create my own, so I write and direct. And yeah, so I'm new to real estate. I figured I can, fund my own projects and have a nice little business going.
Great. Awesome. Well, welcome. All right, and then who else do we have? Let's see. Doncher, is it? No? If you're trying to talk, I'll just need you to unmute yourself. Doncher? Otherwise, Chatty? No? Okay.
Daddy, and I'm from Morocco. It's just I do graphic design and web development, and I've been doing retail for the past 2 years. And I just joined Keller Williams and I actually got my license 2 weeks ago. So I'm so new to this, and I'm so excited to see how it goes from there. And nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you. Thank you so much. Well, I'm glad you could join. Angela, I just noticed that the email that you sent me is just the PowerPoint. Is there the course material packet itself somewhere?
Oh, yes. Hold on one second.
Okay, yeah, perfect.
Let me resend it.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
Okay.
In the meantime, so my name is Tiffany Chin. I've been licensed since 2007, and I've been with the office since 2012. So it's been quite a ride here. Oh, I'm sorry. There, Jenny, you just joined us. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Oh, hi, I'm Jenny. I'm a new agent here, and I think I've met everyone, or maybe not everyone.
Okay. And what industry are you coming from?
Oh, well, I've done cancer research, and then I've done real estate in Hawaii, and I worked for a construction company before, so I've had a little bit of that.
Oh, good. So you have some experience with the construction side of it. That's helpful. All right, well, welcome. So anyway, so what I was saying is I've been with the office for quite some time now. I started with the team for like a little over a year, then decided to start my own thing. And I've been running a team since a few years ago. Maybe it's been like five years now since I started running the team. So it's been a lot of fun. We do have a great office with people who just love to collaborate, and we're happy that you join us. Right? If you have any questions about anything else, feel free to participate today. It is more fun when you do. So let's dive into it. So today's session is set goals that matter. All right. Okay. Let me see if you've sent me have you sent it to me already, Angela?
Yeah, so if you open the PowerPoint, download it, and then open it in the PowerPoint app, you should be able to see the instruction slide.
So how I usually go about these Ignite classes is, I do like to kind of to jump in with some of my own experiences and my own comments. But what I've noticed is when I stray too far away from the course material, I tend to miss things that actually are very important that people have put this together in a certain way to make sure that you get the most out of the material. And so just wanted to let you know that if you do hear me reading from it, it's because, that's important stuff that you need to know. So, okay, so I'm in slides, but I don't see the notes, Angela. I mean, so because I have a MacBook, it's kind of, it shows up a certain way. Maybe click on documents, presentation time. Let me see if I can not one maybe. No.
Hi, sorry, I was on mute. I was talking, but so if you open up the email, you see it like this, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, and then if you download it, does it open up in the PowerPoint?
Well, you have a PC.
Like,
I don't have a PowerPoint. I have presentation or whatever it is on a MacBook.
Let me ask Cameron real quick.
Okay. All right. Well, in the meantime, I'll just go off the cuff of what's on these slides. So, do you guys have the slides in front of you?
We did.
Oh,
Yeah.
Not on the screen anymore, huh? Okay. Well, let's just talk. So what successful agents do every day. So as far as what agents do, there are two major responsibilities that you have, and it's divided into two categories: growing your business and running your business, right? So as far as growing your business, that includes lead generating for buyers and sellers, making seller listing presentations and getting listings, making buyer presentations and getting listings, and previewing real estate. So these are all activities that you would do in order to develop your business, make sure you have the right materials in order to be able to scale, right? And some of it is developing some knowledge too. So previewing real estate is very important in terms of knowing what your inventory is, starting to understand some of the jargon involved, and just be able to also have talking points when you're talking with potential buyers and sellers, which is your big job of lead generating for buyers and sellers, right? And then other activities fall under running your business. So marketing your seller listings, showing buyers homes, negotiating contracts, transaction management to closing, vendor management. So vendor management being like your title officer, your escrow officer, any contractors who you may be working with within the business, setting goals, compliance and risk management. So making sure that you are, filling out paperwork the way that the office needs us to, because we're all working under the broker, right? So the broker has certain rules as far as what paperwork needs to be turned in, because he's the one who's liable. So that's why we have a compliance risk management to reduce our liability. And attend training and get coaching, and then manage your money, right? Angela, are you able to go to the next slide?
Yes. Also, if you would like, Cameron can come into the office and help you. But if you want to just move forward, we can do it this way.
I mean, it's fine. I just won't know, like, if there are certain things that I think you guys should find that instructor manual. It should be within command to download as another file,
Okay.
instead of just the PowerPoint, because I want to make sure that I don't miss things that need to be relayed.
Okay. Let me ask him. Yeah.
Great. Thank you. All right. So what we'll focus on today are, kind of the goal setting parts of this. So within growing your business, lead generate for buyers and sellers. Within running your business, setting goals and attend training and get coaching. Right. Next slide. Angela. Yeah. Okay. Next slide. All right. So who we are and where we want to go determine what we do and what we accomplish. So have you guys heard of the book, The One Thing? Yeah. Okay. It's a book that Gary Keller and Jay Papasan wrote. So as you start to understand and get familiar with the KW culture, you'll notice that Gary Keller is the founder, right, and the CEO of our company. And Jay Papasan's kind of his right-hand man, as far as he's the co-author of a lot of the books that you'll start to get familiar with. And The One Thing is a book that is centered around that you should focus your time and energy on the one thing that will make everything else unnecessary and, well, easier and or unnecessary. Right? So this is a quote from there. Yes, come in. Oh, I'm teaching a class right now, but thank you so much. Thank you. I thought you were Cam. Thanks, Christina. All right, so within The One Thing on page 88, you'll see a slide, you'll see a page that says think, act, and achieve. So what we're looking at here is a graph where the y-axis is thinking, the x-axis is time and effort, and what we're measuring here is that if you there's certain actions that take a lot of time and effort and not much thinking, and you get smaller outcomes. And then there are other things that take, a lot of time and effort and a lot of thinking, and that gives us big outcomes, All right, let's look at the next slide. All right, so my big life. I think there's probably a part of this that I can't see, Angela. Oh, can we move the slide over so I can see it? No? Or is that just it?
Yeah, I don't know why this one is cut off.
Okay, well, technical difficulties. Let me see on my thing if it looks any different. Oh, actually, there's another slide. Can you go back to the prior slide? Apparently, there's another portion of that. Oh, yeah, perfect. Okay, so what we want to look at is, as far as the big outcomes go, we want to know what, how, and who. We want to ask ourselves what, how, and who. Like, you know, be thinking about basically being deliberate about what you're doing, how you're doing it, and who needs to be involved in order to get these big outcomes. All right, to achieve these big outcomes. All right, next. All right, let me just check my two so that I know. Oh, yeah, I guess it is that way. Okay, so we want to create a roadmap to figure out, you know, what your big life will consist of. You want to always be connected to what your big why is and what your big life will, what your big life entails. So you want to know what your goals are so that you have that motivation to live that big life, right? Okay, next. All right, and then we want to understand, sorry, what was it? Understand what? Oh, understand your goal, all right, is the next step in the journey, all right? So where does your money go? I assume that's what this is. So the commissions go to the other agent because, you know, if you're representing the seller, there's another agent involved representing the buyer, right? Some of the money goes to your market center. Some of your money goes to business expenses that come with owning a business. And then you want to look at what your take-home funds will be. And this is very important that you also save for taxes, especially if you come from an industry before where the taxes were withheld for you and you were you know, receiving a W-2 at the end of each year. Your company was already withholding taxes for you with every paycheck. So it was a forced savings. What a lot of realtors forget once they become owners of their own businesses and independent contractors is that you no longer have anyone who's withholding taxes for you because you're an independent contractor. So you need to set up a system that will help you save to be able to pay your taxes when tax season comes. All right, next. See, I'm sure there's some things that I'm supposed to be telling you about this. I'm guessing it's how you divide and you know, save different portions of each dollar that you earn, right? There was a system, I remember when I first started, that every commission check that I received, I would split into, I want to say into 4. But what were the 4? I think one was just for personal expenses. One was for personal savings. One quarter was for taxes, and then the other quarter was, you know, business expenses. If you guys will hold on 1 second for me, that would be helpful. I just want to see if I can just download this this PDF. And I don't want you to miss anything. So if I go to KW command. Do you guys know where you can access all this information, by the way? Actually, maybe I can just show you because then this will be helpful for you to know. Let me see if I can share my screen real quick. Oh. Angela, will you let me share my screen for a sec?
Do you want to share your screen?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, so are you guys seeing my command dashboard right now? Yeah, okay. All right, so what we're looking at here is KW command. Now I've lost it on my KW command. One second. So on KW command, do you guys know how to get here at least? I'm losing all my pages here. Oh, here it is. Okay, so in KW command, if you go to KW Connect, you should be able to find all the Ignite course materials too. So this is a good place to know where to find some information that you need. So then go to kwconnect.com here. This is where all the educational information lives. And then if you go to this search bar here, as soon as it loads, just go to search here and search Ignite. I think it's Ignite. Let's look at all the documents. You'll see there are all kinds of different files and documents and courses that you can search for here. And then it's super helpful as far as being able to find some information. Like if you have never, for example, if you've never seen a listing presentation done before, you can watch one being done here. If you've never seen a buyer presentation done before, you can watch someone do it here. You know, there are all kinds of cool things that you can get to. So let me see if I can go to course materials here for Ignite. Materials, and then we're in goals, right? So goals, this is participant guide. Should be instructor one somewhere too. Goals on that. So then you'll see all the different student manuals here, the participant guides, so that you can download that too, in case you miss something. But I think our office also sends it to you. Okay, let's see where we are now. Okay, I'll go back to that dollar bill because I feel like there's something I'm supposed to be telling you there. Okay. All right, so stop share, and then now, Angela, you can share again. So that we can get back to the presentation. Okay, so as far as, let's go back to this. So where does it go? So the first thing you need to understand is how your commissions work. So many new agents get the first check for their closing, pocket it all because you're so excited about that amount of money, and then you get in trouble down the line. So let's talk about where the money goes and how much would actually be going to your goal. So these numbers are very general and are meant only as an example because the actual amounts will vary, especially if you're on a team. So first, if you're on the seller side of the transaction, half of the commission goes to the buyer's agent, right? Like I was saying, you have your commission and the buyer's agent also has the other half. So the same is true if you're a buyer's agent paying a 50% split to the seller's agent, right? And then once you have your half, about a third goes to the market center being our office, to cover your company dollar, franchise royalty, and fees. And then after you pay the market center, roughly another third goes back into your business. This covers, and this is something you'll want to save for, right? So this covers marketing, operating expenses, signs, your car, your phone, and anything else you need to conduct and grow your business. And finally, you get your share with the caveat. Your take home includes your taxes, but money away, so put money away for your taxes religiously. You don't want to have a year's worth of work wiped out because you failed to plan. Again, so make sure you talk to an accountant or CPA about, a way to save for your taxes. And like I said, it's a good way to do that is to have separate bank accounts for each thing. So I would have a separate bank account where I put my portion of my taxes into there so that I wouldn't touch it. Then I wouldn't see it, so then I wouldn't touch it, right? It's kind of a forced savings plan. All right, so next slide. So let's get real and get paid. So let's say you have an average sales price of 300,000 and your average commission income is 9,000 for this sale. So our objective in this activity is to get real about tying your business to your goals. And we're going to figure out, based on how much money you'll receive from a transaction, how many transactions you'll need this year to meet that goal. All right, so there's an activity, I think maybe maybe it's the same slide. So first we're going to estimate the average sales price and average GCI in our market. As you experience selling more homes, you'll be able to estimate an average sales point and GCI that fits your transactions more accurately. I don't know what our market's average sales price is, but let's just use 1 million because it's an easier number, right? So let's do this activity together. So the average sales price of a home is $1 million, right? And the average commission income per transaction then, so how do we figure that out? So 2.5% is the typical split, right? So if you have 1 million times 2.5%, that's our average GCI, which gives us 25,000, right? It's our average GCI, let's say. Sales price, okay. All right. Okay, let's go to the next slide. So, okay, so now we're going to figure out how much of your commission is going to the market center. So multiply your GCI by your market center's company dollar. This number is capped at, how much is the cap for our market center's company dollar? Is it 19,000? Something like that. So once you cap, you don't have to pay any more company dollar to your market center until after your anniversary date. And then next is your franchise royalty, which is generally 6% of your GCI. So this is capped at 3,000. This is a royalty fee that we all pay to Keller Williams, right? So if we add those together to get the maximum amount of money you'll pay the market center in the course of 12 months. Okay, so let's say it's 19,000. Does anyone actually have these numbers in front of them of what it is? I think it's maybe it's 29,000. I think it's 29,000. So the first number is actually 29,000, which is the market center company dollar. Company dollar. And then the franchise royalty. Royalty is capped at 3,000. Right? Okay. Let's go to the next slide. Now give me a second. Maybe we should use the examples that they have so that we don't get confused. Because it's close enough to what we have. Our 29,000 is the, okay, well, whatever. Okay, so the total that we would pay to the company then is 32,000 in your anniversary. Okay. Okay, next slide. So in order to calculate your transaction goals, what we're going to have to figure out is, what the point of all of this is. So let's find out how many transactions you'll need to do this year in order to meet your goals. So A would be your net income goal. How much money do you want to make this year before taxes and operating expenses? You can set your own goal, but let's say that this one, let's use 100,000 as an easy example, right? That's your net income goal, and you can do your own with a different net income goal if you have that. And the company dollar and royalty cap in this example is 30,000. Our offices is 32,000. C would be your business expenses, how much you estimate to be your business expenses. So this would include salaries, most lead generation and marketing expenses, education, etc. And then D is your total GCI, which is the total of A, B, and C included all together, right? If you add all this together, this is how much money you'll need to make to pay the market center and still hit your goal. Does that make sense? Because in order to calculate your how much you'll need to make your GCI, you need to include your net income goal, how much you'll be paying to the office, assuming that you're capping, plus your business expenses, which is that 50,000 here. All right, and then E is your average GCI per transaction, the first calculation that we did. So the average that we had was 25,000, right? So in this example, what the annual transaction goal comes out to is 20, because you'll be dividing D by E in order to find out how many transactions you'll need to hit. Does that make sense? And if you need additional help calculating your transaction goals, you can reach out to the productivity coach. So you can reach out to Rob, and he'll be able to help you set your goals there. All right. Does that make sense? I know we kind of went through that a little quickly, but do you guys understand the basis of this? Yeah. Okay. I mean, math doesn't come easily to me, so you can tell me if you don't understand. Yeah. So basically, we didn't know it. We want to know, okay, based on your net income goal, how much money we're paying to the office, how much money we're spending on the business. What is that total divided by your average GCI in order to find out what your annual transaction goal will be? Okay, perfect. All right, next slide. Okay, so Command actually has a goal setting and tracking built into the reports applet. So if you don't want to do the math, you can actually just do it right in here. So these goals are based on the MREA economic model, and they utilize the contacts and opportunities applets in Command to track activities and production. So basically what Command is looking to do is they're making it easier in order to track your activities and your production. Based on the goals that you've set within here, they're going to look at the contacts that you've put in there, the opportunities that you've inputted in there, which are the leads and transactions that you have, in order to help you, reach your goals. So you can log into Command, choose the reports icon on the left side of the page, and at the top, click goals. Do you guys want to see that? I can see if I can pull up Command again. I have a gazillion windows open, so it's not always the easiest thing to do. Okay, do you guys feel comfortable, looking at this on your own? It'll be okay. Okay, all right, but definitely check it out because it's a cool way to be able to set your goals. Actually, no, they want us to do it all together so that you can put it in two. Okay, let's just get something out of this. At least you'll have your goals in here. All right, Angela, can I share my screen again? Thank you. All right, so pull up your Command. Are you guys log into Command while I'm pulling it up on my end too. And then we can do it together. Okay, got it. Now I've lost the other page. Hold on. Is everyone in? Okay, so I have that one and then I need the other screen.
Okay, I'm in. So where do we go?
Okay, so you're in Command?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Give me 1 second. Okay, so then once you are in there, you're going to choose the reports icon on the left side of the page. Oh my God, my computer's freezing. Close some of these things because it's not working out here. Don't like this here. Okay, and then at the top of the page, you can click goals. And then click on add goals in the settings at the top right of the page. Let me know if you're having trouble finding it, right? And then click get started. And then you can enter, when you enter in your profit goal in Command, you'll be entering the amount of profit your business earns before taxes and after subtracting cost of sales and operating expenses from your GCI. You guys got that? And then use the drop down to select the year you're setting goals for. And first set your annual profit goals, then your business makeup or the percentage of listings versus buyer transactions you plan to close. And then click save and continue.
So what part, how do you kind of estimate your expenses versus your profits? Kind of made mine high.
You made yours high?
Well, like just automatically, it made it 3/4 of my profit for some reason.
So put three goals of a third of, let's say 30% of your, I would probably do it less than that. 25% of what your GCI would be, should be
Okay.
that. For now, I wouldn't make it more than 20,000 actually. That's actually too much, I think.
Yeah.
It's $20,000. Right. And then
Wait, I'm sorry, what should be $20,000?
your business expenses.
Okay.
And then you want to also select what percentage of listings versus buyer transactions you plan to close.
And then the cost of sales, that automatically, I think it just
sales, does it automatically populate? Because that's actually your split to the office. So you can just put the total of 20 or 32,000.
Oh, okay.
And remember that that's actually a function of what you close too. So it's not completely, it'll depend on how much you're closing.
Mm-hmm.
questions?
That's pretty cool.
Did it work?
Yeah, neat. I didn't even know that was there.
I don't know why my command's frozen, so I can't really show you, but I'll at least stop sharing. But at least now you know where it is, and that'll be a good tool for you to use with Rob, or Rob is your guys' mentor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Rob will be able to help you, set that goal and be able to help you reach that, come up with a plan to reach it. All right. Okay, so now you know where it is and you can play around with it. All right, so next slide. So do the right activities. So the point of our conversation today is not to be discouraging. It's to equip you with the reality of how to succeed. No matter how big your goal, you can achieve it in the real estate business as long as you focus your time and efforts on the right business activities. All right, so the next slide shows us the 80-20 principle. So this is a huge thing that we talk about within Keller Williams quite a bit. So in the 1940s, quality control manager Dr. Joseph M. Juran documented a life-changing universal principle that he called the vital few and trivial many. So the idea was that a relatively small percentage of your efforts leads to the mass majority of your results. And he attributed some of his findings to the statistical work of the Italian economist Vilfredo Pareto, who had observed that 80% of the wealth in his country was owned by 20% of the population. As fate would have it, that broadly embraced principle came to be known as Juran's law, but as Pareto's principle. So these days we simply call it the 80-20 principle. And it's surprising that this is actually a universal rule that makes a lot of sense. So the idea that 20% of your actions lead to 80% of your results may be one of the most powerful principles you can apply to your life. It's about getting the most from your time and effort. It's about maximizing your results. It's about having focus. So does anyone know what we mean by big rocks? No? Okay. So if your day is, let's say that your day is a jar and you put your big rocks in first. If you put your little rocks like sand, gravel, etc. in first, you won't have room for the big rocks. And your big rocks are the most important activities of your day, those which cannot be skipped. Your little rocks are distractions or smaller tasks that may need to be done but aren't going to get you materially closer to your goal. So the idea is that your big rocks are what are your main tasks that are your money generating activities that should take up 20% of your effort to create 80% of the results, right? So basically what they're saying is, focus your time and energy on that 20% that will give you 80% of your results, the most important things, the big rocks. All right, so the next slide. Another way to identify your 20% is to ask the central question to the one thing. What is the one thing you can do right now that would make everything else easier or unnecessary? So while asking the question is simple, it can take some practice to dig down and find the best answer. So let's work through this together. All right, let's go to the next slide. So here's, Angela, next slide. Thank you. So here's the slide of activities we see every day. We know this is how successful agents spend their time and how you'll spend your time. So remember, everything on this list will have to be done. But what we're trying to do is identify our 20%. Which action will give us the most and best results so that we can do everything else? So looking at these activities, which activity is a successful agent's 20%? What do you think out of this list?
I'm thinking lead generate for buyers and sellers.
Exactly, you got it. So lead generate for buyers and sellers. Ultimately, the idea is that without lead generating for buyers and sellers, you could do everything else, but if you have no clients to actually work with, all the other things are unnecessary, right? Okay, awesome. If you don't lead generate, you don't have a business. So we must lead generate.
Can I ask a question
right.
on?
Sure,
Can I,
absolutely.
so as a super new agent, I've, just signed on last month. For lead generation, I'm working on, I'm trying to do every single day some relationship building, trying to reach out to people that I haven't talked to in a while. And, whether it's a phone call or social media, I'm just trying to be like more active with the people that are in, my, my circle.
Yeah.
Is that considered, does that relationship building, does that fall under lead generation, even though it's kind of like, that's like a long term, it's just kind of like, I'm just trying to get back onto people's minds without necessarily specifically talking about real estate, does that fall, is that part of lead generation or?
It does. Yes, the idea is you're getting in front of people, right?
Yeah.
And so the people in your sphere are the most immediate people who you would want to get in contact with to reestablish, redevelop those relationships. So that's exactly what you should be doing. Because when you're reaching out to people and connecting with them and relationship building, they're going to ask you what you're doing, right? So
Right.
real estate, naturally comes up.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's a really good thing for you that you've discovered already, because I remember when I first started, like it was and I was taking Ignite. It was so exhausting and a burden to think, okay, every person I see, I need to tell them about real estate. It's like this dark cloud that was looming over me all the time, and I hated it. And ultimately, what I realized is, oh my God, I'm going to ask them how they're doing. They're going to ask me how I'm doing. So it's naturally going to come up anyway. So it's really not a big deal. You're just in the moment with your friends, the people who are around you, you're reconnecting with them and just developing that relationship. And that's it. Real estate will naturally come up. It doesn't have to be something that you blurt out. It just will come through conversation, because they'll ask you what you've been up to and say, yeah, it's been really great. I took I've been learning all this really great stuff with my new company in real estate. And they'll say, oh, you're in real estate. And you just have stories to tell. And that's really the, most important thing. And that's why if you can, preview real estate and talk about some great homes that you've seen, like people love to hear things like that. Right. So, okay, good. Yeah, that's exactly what you should be doing.
Okay, thank you.
And of course. Thank you for asking. All right, so let's look at the next slide. All right, so at Keller Williams, we have a tool for tackling our big rocks and ensuring all our activities tie back to our goals. It helps us focus, and it's called the 411. So if you're on page 7 of your participant guide, there should be this page on there. There's also a digital copy of the 411 in the Ignite toolkit if you happen to have that. So how to use the 411. So you'll want to identify one of the 5 rectangles from the Envision Your Life activity to focus on for this activity. So while all the elements of your big life are important, you'll want to select the one that is the most urgent or would make the other parts of your vision easier. For example, paying off student loan debt, whatever it may be that's important to you from thinking about your big life, right? It's possible that your big life vision will involve professional and personal goals. So what we're focusing on are professional goals for this exercise, but of course, personal goals are equally important. So if you're able to identify personal aspects of achieving your goals, you should add them along the way. But ultimately, we'll want to think about what you need to achieve to make this part of your big life possible. For example, how much do you need to make this year to survive, plus how much extra is needed to pay off student loans? That's an example, right? This will be the annual goal that you'll put at the top of your 411. So for example, if your goal is to pay off a third of your student loans in the next 12 months, that would go at the top of your annual goals there, right? And then look back at your get paid worksheet. Will doing the minimum SPARK goals get you materially closer to your goals? If you need to do more, how much more can you do? Based on the get paid worksheet, how much will you make this year? And how much do you need to reach your own goals? How many transactions will it take to reach that goal? The number of transactions you'll need to make your goal will go under annual goals item 1. And how many closings will you need each month to reach your annual transaction goals? This is item 1 under monthly goals. Right, so you're just breaking it down. Like what is your ultimate goal? What's one thing in your big life that will go in your annual goals? How much do you need in order to reach that goal? And how much do you need for survival? How many transactions will you need in order to meet that goal for the year? That goes in that box 1, annual goals. And then how many closings per month would that break down to in order to reach that transaction goal, right? And on average, to get 20 transactions, you'll need 40 appointments. So that's something to be aware of. And how many appointments will you need in order to and need a week in order to meet your monthly goals? This is your item that goes under weekly goals. All right, so now how many appointments will you need each week in order to make your big life a reality? Is this something that you guys are filling out right now? Or is it too daunting a task? I think what we should do today is let me go through this information with you so you're familiar with it, and then bring it to Rob so that you can actually take the time and fill it out. Because I think some of it is just understanding what these worksheets are so that you're exposed to it, and then letting it sink in so that you can go in and dive into it. Because whenever I do these things, like I need like dedicated focus time in order to really do this properly. So I just want to make sure that you guys understand the worksheets first. Does this worksheet make sense to you? Do you have any questions? So this is something you're supposed to be looking at every week in order to help you reach your goals. So you're not just looking at it once a year, as many people do with goals. Were you gonna ask something, Patty?
No, I was just responding to, yeah.
Oh, okay, wonderful, thank you. Appreciate it. All right, so as you build your skills and create business momentum, figuring out your weekly and monthly activities will become more specific and accurate. For one, you'll be able to better predict how many calls you'll need to make to get X number of appointments, which results in Y number of transactions. Once you get to this level, you can use the goal tracking features in Command. So the idea with goal setting is, you look at your annual goal, you break that down to your monthly, and then what weekly activities do we need to do in order to reach those activities, right? And especially when you're starting your own business, it's so important to have these goal setting tactics and skills down, because otherwise every goal seems very intangible, I suppose. It's just this number that you don't really feel a connection to. But that's why part of all this training is really to connect that goal back to something that's important to you about your big life. Like what personal goals are you trying to achieve by making this amount of money, right? And then from there, okay, now I have the personal connection with my goal. What does that mean on a monthly basis? what does that mean I need to do on a weekly basis? So now I know exactly the activities I need to do in order to be able to achieve those results. And then you can kind of sit back, not sitting back, but you can breathe a little bit easier, knowing that, okay, I've planned it out in such a way that if I make this many contacts per day, that should, based on my conversion ratios, be able to get me this many appointments. And based on that many appointments, I should be able to get this number of signed listing agreements or buyer agreements in order to be able to close this number of transactions and be able to reach this goal. So it all just kind of is like step by step, like breaking down to being able to reach your ultimate goal. And it gives you a roadmap in order to be able to get there. All right. Okay, so next slide. So here's the reality. The day-to-day life of successful agents is very repetitive. They know that their routine produces the results they need to live the life they want. Often that's enough to make them love the grind. There are many of you in this room who, once you start seeing your work pay off, will love the grind. You'll enjoy honing your systems and skills to compete at the highest level. There are others of you in this room who will never love the grind, and that's okay. It doesn't mean you're doomed to fail. Even those of you who find you love it will have days when you need more of a push to motivate yourself. And I want to give you something for those times. So I'm going to ask you to do something that may feel silly at first, but it's crucial as a part of building careers worth having, businesses worth owning, and lives worth changing. So let's affirm your big life. So turn to page 8 in your participant guide. We're going to create for ourselves a little ritual. So think back to your big life and the goals you've set for yourself. Think about one of those people or causes that you named as something you care deeply about. I want you to use that person or thing you care about to create an affirmation. And you're going to say that affirmation aloud whenever you begin a new task. The key to creating powerful affirmation is to be specific. So tie the activity you're doing to the greater goal and remind yourself why your work matters. So an example is provided below, but you're encouraged to offer your own examples from your big life vision. So let's say part of your big life is ensuring your mom is well cared for as she ages. So let's say that one way you want to do this is to help her pay off her house. And I want you to write an affirmation that you will say out loud before every call you make as you lead generate. So for instance, you could say, I'm making this call to provide for my mom by paying off her house because she provided for me, and I want to show her I appreciate her. So it's just an exercise. This affirmation is an exercise to reconnect you with why you're doing this, and reminding yourself that by making this activity, by making this call, you're one step closer to be able to provide for your mom, right? Okay, let's see what's next. Or let's say you want to support a charity. You could say, I'm making this call to support the Ronald McDonald House by paying for families to stay there because I want to reduce the suffering of families with sick children, whatever it may be. So do you feel the difference between making calls for 3 hours a day because you have to and making calls for 3 hours a day because you want to take something off the plate of a family dealing with catastrophic illness? Or is it because you want your mother to feel loved and safe? The idea is that your call will feel differently and your business will look differently if you continue to stay connected to your why, your big why. Mm-hmm. All right, so let me know if you guys want to share what your affirmations are. I'll force anyone to. If not, we can go to the next slide. Okay, so accountable people achieve results others can only dream of. This is from The One Thing as well. So goals without accountability are just wishes. we're more likely to do what we've said we're going to do if we know we must answer to someone. Can anyone relate to that? Yeah. Okay, so I have a trainer and he's making me take pictures of everything that I eat. So, that is accountability at its best, because now I have to really think about what I'm going to be eating, because I know I have to send that picture, right? So that's very similar to what we're talking about here. That's an example of what we're doing here. So again, goals without accountability are just wishes. We're more likely to do what we've said we're going to do if we know we must answer to someone. Okay, so let's see. All right. So what we can do, how many people are in here now? Do we have an even number? 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it would be helpful if you guys were accountable to each other. It's a little different. Like when we're in person, then you can have an accountability partner a little bit more easily. But if you can be accountable to each other and just make sure that you're attending these courses, setting up your goals. What I actually can do, if you would like, is share with Rob what we talked about today, so that you can make an appointment with him in order to set your goals and share that with him. Would that be helpful? Okay, great.
That'd be great.
Okay, thanks, Patty. Great. All right, I can do that. Ooh, it's very exciting. Okay. Oop. Okay, so next slide. So thank you for all your hard work today. I hope you're feeling empowered to reach your goals and live your big life. So let's go to the next slide actually. If you go to page 9 of your participant guide, and the goal of our time together is to help you think, feel, act, and use what you've learned to ignite your passion and help you achieve your big why. Are there any, let's see, taking the time to reflect on what you've learned is important in building your confidence and celebrating your growth. So we are wondering then what your aha was from this session. Anyone like to share? Why is the sun killing me here? God, okay. What are your big ahas today? Anything that sparked a light bulb in today's session? How has your thinking changed? What do you feel differently about now? Are there any behaviors or actions that you'll be taking going forward? Mm-hmm. What did you learn, Patty?
I'm always relearning.
You're always relearning. I mean, a lot of these things we've heard before, right? Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just saying that's the accountability, because you're kind of in a vacuum. So
Yeah.
That's important.
It is.
And I think just taking little steps every day. Otherwise it's overwhelming.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great aha. I think that's the idea of these goal setting tools, right? So that what are those little steps I need to take every day that will get me closer and closer to my goals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, great. Thank you for sharing. Anything else? All right, and you guys know that you have scripts that you can practice as well, right? So within these packets, there are scripts to practice. I think it's very helpful to at least just read them aloud a few times. Just reading them like 3 times through, they start to ingrain within your brain, and you'll find that randomly parts of the script will just come out in conversations that you have. So with clients that you may have while you're lead generating, like they just kind of creep into your dialogue. So definitely practice the scripts. All right, anything else that I don't think there's I don't think there's anything else that we have to do in here, but I can take a couple minutes to answer any questions that you guys may have. Anything that I can do to help? Oh yeah, remember your 10, what is it? 10-4 is what it's called. Your daily activities.
Tiffany, are people going back into the offices now, or?
They can. I mean, our office it's not officially open, but you can come into the office if you'd like. You know, we just have to wear masks and everything. I have my door closed, so I'm stuck in my own office right now. But I come here like a couple times a week if I just need to get away. You definitely can. It's nice to have that community within here.
Yeah, it's really, since I started, you just feel like you're so disjointed from everybody and you're not in person. And so you're kind of keeping yourself going all the time, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Except for, I mean, it's good to have this support, but it's great to have the contact, I think, too.
Right.
I was curious as to when that might be.
Mm-hmm. Where do you live nearby?
I live in Pasadena.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, you can drop in. There was some people here. The staff is always here at least. And we always have some people who are dropping in and out too. Okay. All right. If you don't have any other questions, then I will let Rob know now what what we talked about, and then that way he can that way he'll know that you guys will be reaching out to him. He'll be happy. All right. Okay, thank you so much, you guys. Appreciate you attending today, and let me know if you need anything.
Thank you.
My pleasure. All right, take care. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.